right. Welcome to once again to Kopi with Vans. It just seems like, it's like a concert, right? I mean, I enjoyed the past 5 minutes of this introduction or rather this countdown with this music. So thanks to my bro, Nathan. Thank you so much, Nathan, for this uh, introduction or rather the countdown for this particular video that you did for us. Thank you so much. So once again, we are back at Kopi with Vans as usual. Before we start, there's always the mug and there's always a drink. But nowadays, we just have to drink lots of water because I noticed that I've been drinking a lot of coffee. So there comes the water. All right. All right. Thank you for all the viewers who are just joining us from Malaysia and Singapore as well. And it's a great honor to have you guys on board in Kopi Events. And today's topic is all about women's right. Yeah, this is the second season that we are having it. We had this particular topic last year on women's right, and I think it was very interesting to understand and talk about all those stuff that happened in the 19th centuries and 20th centuries, or even back then, like 20, 30 years back. So there was a lot of discussions that was going on. Some says, hey, why there should be a woman's right? There shouldn't be any woman's right. I spoke to one of my speakers and she said, you know what, there should be a man's right. In fact, men's need it more than the woman right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. I have a couple of speakers who are coming on board. They are all with wealth of experiences, and then it's going to be a lot of discussion. So if you do have any questions, so please keep it, because as usual at Kopi Rats, what's going to happen is we're going to keep the last 15 minutes or 20 minutes for Q&A, and usually we keep it for 1 hour, but sometimes it just extends to 1 hour 10 or 1 hour 20. So it's okay. Like the last session that we had with Premila Krishna Kumar, who's a great speaker. She's talked about all about cancers and challenges and obstacles. So she's back again today. We're going to talk about a little on the aspects of women's rights. So if you do have any questions, like I said it again earlier, so please stand by, and I'm going to bring it up my speaker. So I'm not sure if Premila is ready to come on board. If you do have any comments, you can actually comment it to this the number that you're seeing here. If you're a little shy to talk about certain things, I know some of the viewers do not want to type it out. But if you're not shy, social media shy, so you can actually message it up over here, and then I would take it out and without mentioning the names. But if you are comfortable, just drop it there. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up my speaker again. She's just joined us last week, and it was an amazing session I had with her. And a lot of people actually send us messages and saying that she's amazing, she's a great speaker, and say that you guys know each other for more than 20 years. No, actually no, we just less than 1 week. All right, so without any ado, let's bring Premila. Hello Premila, how are you there?
I'm fine, Vance. Thanks for calling me again.
Thank you. You just came back from temple, is it? Samila kumtuttu vandingala?
No lah,
Okay.
women's
Oh,
topic, so with traditional lah.
wow. I think that she definitely need a clap again. Once again. Thank you, Premila. I mean, it's amazing to see. You really prepared for it. I didn't even thought about it. That you actually came with this sari and standing by beautifully to come and give it a discussion today. So thank you so much once again for joining in. I'm sure a lot of people already start messaging us. Thank you, Asota. Thank you, Tasha. So all friends and families, all from Malaysia and Singapore as well. They are watching. Great pleasure to have again. And show. Yeah, we're going to start a little bit more. Women's right. I know when this topic that came by, I mean, of course, we have few more speakers that's going to join us later. But you told me something and it caught my attention without I giving you any attractions, right? You said that women don't need rights, but men do. If I got it right, I mean, it really struck me a lot, because all the time we talk about women's right, but no one talks
Sorry?
about men's right. I mean, nobody talks about men's right, right? I mean, everybody talk about women's right. So maybe shall we start from that itself? Do you think that
Okay.
men should get their rights? Yeah.
Okay, sure. So let me just start a bit on women itself, because the topic is
Okay.
women, right? So
Yeah.
first and foremost is that um when even when our mothers mother's stomach, the baby girl and the baby boy, the baby girl has a higher heartbeat than the baby boy, right?
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
itself proves that we are more, we are more uh, active and everything lah, and put on the
Mm.
hormones that we have given by God. So we
Mm.
are
Mm.
emotional. So what happens is in this world right now, we are always tagged that, oh, you're so emotional lah, so emotional lah.
Mm.
So that's the perception that most men have towards. And some at some point of time, when they were in the peak of the hormones, the guy and the girl was okay, but as soon as they get less attractive and all that, then the woman's bad side tends to appear, which is the emotions.
Mm.
So I just want the
Okay.
world to accept that we are born with emotions, and we have to, we everyone has to accept that we are born with all these hormones in us, right? So that's number one. Okay, then I was
Mhm.
mentioning to you about men. Okay, so
Mm.
women rights, I would say, is that most of now we are all exposed to all the rights. We are given to education, we are able to drive car, we are able to own a house, we are able to do everything, right? So I think
Mhm.
technically women have all the rights now. We can go to the university. I mean, especially in our country lah, I'll just focus on our
Okay.
country. So when we talk about the technicality, we are all exposed. Okay, so when I speak about the soft part of it, which is my grandmother,
Mhm.
who
Mhm.
who did not get any rights. Okay, 50 years ago, 60
Yep.
years ago, all the thing that she had to do was just to deliver baby, to look after them, and to
Mm.
feed them food, and that's it, right? Until the end, she just did that. So did, does that mean that I'm happier than her because I got all the rights? So that's a big question mark. A woman these days, are they really happy with the amount of rights given to us? So we have to, we really, we as a woman, we have to ask ourselves, okay, are we working in this organization, and we are so successful, so-called successful in career wise? Does that make you happy? Is that okay if you
Mhm.
don't get to see your son for the next 16, 20 hours of your life? So if that makes you happy, then you should just go to that path. So for my grandmother, she didn't have a choice. So she didn't have a choice. She just had to look after, and she was happy. Till the end, she was happy, right? But for me, there's a big question mark. Whatever, now I'm happy because something else happened to me, and I choose to appreciate each moment. But before
Mm.
this, I would say, given whatever that was given on my plate, I would never say that I'm
Mm.
always, I was always contented. No, it's only now that something had to happen to me that I am contented. But if you ask me 3 4 years ago, I had the best job, I had the best, everything is okay. I had the car to drive, I had to go to different countries, I had all the rights I had given to me. But when you talk about, does this all give you happiness? I don't know. So I didn't know that
Okay.
time. So in the end of the day, fundamentally as women, we just appreciate that we are women, and men too have to appreciate that they're women. Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean,
Sorry.
you said it well. We also have another speaker who's coming on board. Is Vanessa Jacqueline. So I'm just waiting for her to give me the cue. So once she's up, she's going to talk as well. Vanessa has a different
Sure.
story, which is more touching as well. I mean, of course, it's woman's right, and I'm sure that that's going to be a very inspirational today's topic as well. And I also have another speaker that's also going to come in. She's I'm not going to say her name, but she done a lot of humanitarian work and kind of stuff. So she's an amazing. So let's see. Vanessa, are you there? Hello, Vanessa.
Hello, very good evening to you all.
Welcome to Kopi with Vans, Vanessa. How are you there?
I'm great. First of all, let me apologize. I'm not dolled up today because I'm actually at
Okay.
home and just rushed back from yoga.
Okay. Okay. Normally
Yeah,
we see you with beautiful
yeah,
clothings and saris and something. You look amazing.
yeah,
Today you are just run into your house after a yoga session. Is that right?
yeah. I just had I just came back from yoga, had my bath, and just came on to the show. And I want to comment on my fellow speaker. She's very beautiful, and I really also love her sari.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
Thank you
so
very
So
much,
sweet.
Vanessa,
Vanessa. Nice meeting
So
you.
thank you. All right. So, Vanessa, we're going to straight go into the topic as we are at the sequence time because we have more speakers coming up on board to discuss about it.
okay,
Okay. I, Initially, I got to say this. I don't like to judge. I don't like to put labels. But
okay, all right.
all right. So, you have, I mean, you have moved into a transgender right now, and that's what people look at it. The first question that I'm going to pose to you and to the viewers out there, I mean, of course, who are watching this, do you still get comments on negative comments at this point of time?
A very good evening to all of you and those who are listening in. Yes, I can tell you that I get negative comments coming to me quite regularly actually, because it is something that I actually cannot stop them from commenting, because they have their own perspectives of what a transgender is, or sometimes they do not even understand what a transgender is all about. Well, I
Okay.
can tell you that we are just normal human beings, just that we are born in the wrong body. We identify ourselves with the different sex that we are born with. But of course, there is a portion of society that does not understand this at all, because the notion of the notion of what being a male and female is very entrenched in society. So comments that come to me that are negative, I just let it go in from one of my ears and out the other ear, because I do not want to argue with them. They have their own perspectives, and I respect everybody's perspectives on how they look at the transgender community. To me, what I'm concerned is to educate society on who the transgenders are in the world. That is my main purpose, education. They need to
You know,
know the rights
you
that
know,
the
Vanessa, I got to say this at this point of time. I mean, I've been watching you over in social medias, and I mean, we know a couple of years. You came on board in Kopi With Vans last year as well, and
yeah,
this year as
correct.
well. So I definitely see you are making a huge impact in terms of coming on board and speaking confidently. But you know, as viewers are watching right now, there are already people. The viewers have already said, "Well said, Vanessa." So definitely making an impact. But you know, on a serious note, Vanessa, you were a male before, and then it's not a decision. It is that what you are, and you felt it, and you found that what your real of you is, and then you decided to pursue on it. And as you move on at this point of your life, what is Vanessa? It's all about is is Vanessa considered as a woman right now, or what do you want the society to look at transgender community as well, or do you want them to name as transgender? You are, you know, with a lot of comments. What do you want the society to be?
Honestly, I want society just to be themselves. Like all transgenders, I want them to be themselves. I just want them to accept who they are. If they think they are male, then they are male. If they think they are female, then they are female. Honestly, there's really nothing to think much about it, because we are who we are. I consider myself as a woman, but of course, society will still consider me as a male, because they see me as a male. But there's also some that will consider me as a woman. So, how do I balance this? Well, I was just accept it actually. I would just ask myself, okay, how do I want to go on with my life? Do I want to be with people who treat me as who I am, or do I want to mix with people who are against me? Well, I can tell you the answer. I want to be with both,
Okay,
so that
you know,
they can actually understand who I'm really am, and I can go out and tell society, hey, I'm a woman. I am who what you see, and I'm offering you my true identity. So I'm out there. I'm being honest with you. I'm just want to show to society that I'm normal. I want to educate society what the transgenders are, and I have built myself up to this point where I want every transgender to have the same confidence that I have, so that they can walk around society with their head up. And even though what society may think of them, they can not be affected by it. So that is confidence building. I took many years to build this confidence up. Ranan, you know me very
You
well.
know,
Many years.
Vanessa. I mean, you don't need to explain that because we have seen you, your posts, your articles, your poems, and constantly you're speaking in different platforms to make a definitely a huge impact in this. But I'm going to come back to you first. I mean, can come back to you later. But I'm going to go back to Premila. Premila, I mean, we just heard, Vanessa has mentioned this, right? And we know that unfortunately, even at certain countries in the world, women are always seen as the kitchen, and kitchen is the woman. I mean, I have another speaker who will be coming up, but she's very strong on that aspect. But what is this association with kitchen? And nowadays, men are the chef. I seen most of the famous chefs are the men. So men are spending more time in the kitchen, and women are more career minded, and they're out of the kitchen. And in comparison to the back 20 or 30 years, it's always a different. So what is this trend going on to, and what is your take on this, Permila? சொல்லுங்க நீங்க சொல்லுங்க
I
வாய்
think
திறந்து சொல்லுங்க.
because of the woman. Salom. No, I think because of the woman who sat in the kitchen 20 to 30 years ago that we are here now. It's because of
Mm,
them. So whether you define me as a better woman because I'm sitting right here working, or my grandmother who cooked for me 30 years back as a successful woman, right? So it's what we put the definition as. And today, husband and wives both clean the kitchen, clean the house, take care of the babies, right? So there is more of, there's a complete inclusiveness in this whole process. And having said that, this MCO has taught us a lot. Like, the organization has become
mhm,
more inclusive. People have understood that women and men are both taking care of the household, and so everyone has equal. It's very inclusive nowadays. So it's just that sometimes we are unconsciously we are biased. Sometimes நம்ம அறியாமலே, like whatever we tell, oh, yeah, look at the husband lah, everything he's doing, the perception of the previous generation. I think the woman as she just sits and shake her legs. So that perception perhaps is still speaking, that 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 stigma is still in people's head lah. So maybe that we should slowly start clearing. Yeah.
Even in Malaysia is MCO, and in Singapore is a circuit breaker, item alerts, and all came in. And then during this period of time, a lot of men actually went into the kitchen, and they did a lot of creativity, businesses, even in Malaysia as well. A lot of them started during this period of time. I mean, it is you make it or you break it. So a lot of people actually explored a lot of their talents in the kitchen as well. So definitely the kitchen is doesn't belong to the woman anymore. It always belongs to the both sexes of
Yep.
the male and female. இப்ப நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. I'm going to speak in Tamil a little bit, Vanessa. I'm coming back in English to you. யார் இப்ப நல்லா ஆக்குறா? ஆம்பளைங்க ஆக்குறாங்களா இல்ல பொம்பளைங்க ஆக்குறாங்க? Who cooks better, man or woman? Come on.
Anybody
You know
be-
the most popular chef are men, so you got to be very careful with your words, yeah.
I think we give the recipe, but the people who can cook
Oh,
better is the men lah, of course, because they are by the book.
I see.
Women are more creative. So yeah.
Okay, we already got some voting here, poll going on. So Sharina has said man. So man, of course, right? All right, give me a five, Sharini. Right? I mean, Jaya Mohan. I mean, definitely she said man. But it's a bit strange thing, right? I mean, if we say that the kitchen belongs to the woman, the best chef should be the woman, right? I mean, we do see many chefs which are male at this point of time. So the woman gave up on the man. I mean, did they give up the kitchen so that the man can take over? Is that could be the reason?
I think women are too emotional to handle the stress in the restaurant kitchen.
Okay, we got a lot of messages coming in. Equal partners at home. All right, that's right. Equal partners to be spent and creating. Why creating another argument? All right, so we're gonna have another speaker that's coming up. So as we wait for, I'm also going back to Vanessa and Permila as well. Okay, we got another comment here. Woman keeps the best recipe within the family, so never seen as a best chef. Thank you, Dad. Wow, thank you so much. All right, so to keep the recipe like what Premila said. Wow, What a great lady. You keep going, Ma. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Milanathan. And also we have Kiesha. All right, good gender equality, similarity. More women are becoming the main breadwinner. Yes, yes, we have seen that many. To be very honest with you, a couple of the famous CEOs are actually women. All right, in the past, the Pepsi company was actually a female, and she actually make things great. I mean, they have all this wisdom and patience and kind of stuff. I'm coming back to the main the question itself. you know is that could be the reason that women always seen as the weaker sex in terms of their build, and in any kind of violence, or we talk about most of the time. I heard few cases women beat up the man. Okay, but nowadays I don't. Do you think it's still happening behind the doors? Maybe Premila can answer that. Maybe then after that, Vanessa can go through that.
I think compared, I mean, those days, yes, women were physically abused and so on. But nowadays, what I think is with the social media, women are abused on public, on virtual media, right? So I don't know why people can for an example, you back to the physical aspects. When it comes to actresses, they can accept whatever she wears or whatever attire she is on, right? But when it comes to a personal when an individual, when she wears something that she would prefer to wear, and it becomes so public or so viral, right? There's a social group that is like,
Mm,
oh, they are the best, and they don't show off whatever they have, so they are in the perception that they are good people. And then they create viral groups, they send videos. And there's some of my close my sister was one of those who was actually abused, harassed in social media just because one of her sari tying videos went viral. So this kind of things is happening now. But those days, yes, we had physical abusing, and those were the days, but it was not on public, right? So now social media has been used to harass women. So this is what we should be. I think men, we should educate our sons, to look at women as their mother or a sister, instead of looking at her as a figure, just a figure. So I think we as mothers should educate our kids, I think, for the next generation, to how we should treat a
mm.
woman or anybody for a matter of fact. Yeah, so that's my point.
Thank you, Primala. You said it very well as well. And speaking on behalf of the woman as well. Before we go to Vanessa, I know Vani is already on board. She's also done amazing work all around Singapore. She have rescued women from abuse. So I will give the honor for her to come and explain a little bit. But then let's go to Vanessa as well. Vanessa, in the community of transgender, do you think there is some abuse going on still? Or is it nowadays people are just wising up and protecting themselves from getting bullied? Because I think bullying, like what Premila has said, is not just on physical, it can be mental, it can be torture by words, by actions. What is your take on this, Vanessa?
Well, the transgender community is still being bullied, and they are being discriminated in many various ways. I'm not saying that they are free from this situation. However, it is not widely known in a country like Singapore because the discrimination is pretty hidden, and the transgenders themselves do not want to voice it out. For example, like if they work in a restaurant, a customer may insult them because of their sex. They may comment that they may not look like a woman at all. But of course, the transgender will just keep it quiet because the transgender wants his or her job, because it is not easy for a transgender to find jobs in Singapore itself. And the restaurant owner may also not argue against the customer because the customer is always right.
Okay, but I'm coming to the main point right now, Vanessa. I mean, so that we can move on. You think is the abuse going on?
Yes, yes. I mean, the abuse is going on. I mean, okay. For example, let's give a clear example. They can go to a party. Now, of course, when they are invited to a party, they are expected to enjoy. They are expected that a guest will treat them correctly. But sometimes when they go to a party, they are being isolated. The guest, sorry, the host does not treat them properly. So that is how they are being discriminated. You see, it is something that people are doing against the transgender community. However, the transgender community do not want to fight because they want to live a very peaceful life. They do not want to rock the boat at all. That is where I'm coming in.
Okay,
I'm telling them,
Vanessa, we're gonna come back again in a while. We have a guest speaker right now waiting in. I'm gonna pull her up. That's Vani here. Hello, Vani. Vani, you got to unmute yourself because there's a. Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
It's good
And
to see
hi to
you.
everybody.
It's good to see you in Kopi events again, once more again, right?
Yes, thank you for having me. I love being here.
So we have two speakers here, Premila, the second time coming in on a Kopi events, and Vanessa as well, a regular face. You guys
Yes.
want to say hi and girls, bye.
Yeah, yeah, hi. Hi, everybody. So good to
Hi.
have sharing this
Uh,
space with all of you.
Thank you. Vani, I want you to do a quick introduction so that our
Okay.
speakers and our viewers right now from Malaysia and Singapore will know who you are and then what kind of work you have done. And then we can come back to the abuse topic right now because we are talking in terms of transgender and women's right. All right. We are still coming out from the kitchen. The kitchen is still pulling us, but the
Yes,
man
I
seems to take over
saw
the.
that.
So
I want to talk about.
we're going to fight that and discuss this. All right. So
All
your
right, I
quick
want to
introduction, please.
absolutely. To all the Malaysian viewer, I'm half Orang Penang because I've done my PhD from Penang, USM. And then right now I'm doing a postdoctoral fellowship at one of the lab in Institute of Molecular and Cell Biology. I'm also a humanitarian. I work with women and children. The passion of my life is to advocate for the safeguarding of women and children. Rest of the work that I have been doing, you can Google it, you can look into the socials and get to know about it more. I think today is to speak about women's rights, so less about me and more about that. Yes.
Thank you, Vani. Thank you for the quick introduction. I mean, we have, like I mentioned, speaker from Premila and Vanessa. They have strong points about kitchens and
Mm.
abuse and all that. And you have actually faced abuse cases before, and you have
Mhm.
rescued women from sexual, activities and all that in the past. That maybe you want to talk about this. In 19th centuries, women rights was founded, or rather, it started.
Mm.
Right now,
Mm.
it's very, very strong. But do you think there should be a word women's right as we
There,
go on in this era?
there should be a word, women's right. Is that what you are talking?
Yeah,
Is that what
that's
you're
right.
saying?
Yeah.
I wish it becomes redundant. I wish it becomes human right. But till the time it doesn't become redundant, it means that we need to do a lot of work for that. And that's what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have a viewer right now. He said that I think some men do get abused behind closed doors, but they're too embarrassed to reveal it and suffer in silence related to build and strength, as in all in physical. Is that the reason why women are taking up boxing nowadays? I see a lot of women taking up box so they can protect themselves. I think martial art is very important.
Uh,
Sorry,
no,
yeah,
no
no, okay,
India.
okay. Um, I mean, we don't want to put other countries down, but in certain countries, we don't want to mention names. Yeah,
Yeah.
can go really bad. And in that aspect, what is your take, Vani? I mean, do we see light at the end of the tunnel?
If we continue to keep denting the wall, maybe one day, but we have to do a lot of work, and not just for somebody just mentioned that men also get abused. I 100% say yes. I work with children, and it's not just the female child which gets abused. All the people from all the gender spectrum get abused, but because the amount, the number, because just now you guys have mentioned that women are seen as weaker gender. So yes, it is a gender based violence because more women get abused as compared to men. Having said that, definitely there are a lot of men who also face abuse and domestic violence, not taking it from them in any ways. The other question, if I see the light at the end of the tunnel, that is what we are. It is a very, it's a moving goal, right? So that is what we are working for. And as we say about the countries, we don't want to name the countries. Yes, there are countries where the things are more, but with my work in developing countries as well as developed countries, sexual assault and violence exists everywhere. It is not country specific. It exists in all the countries. Sometimes it's with strangers, sometimes it is difficult. In some countries, it is probably difficult to be on the road alone at night, but then in some countries, maybe it is somebody whom you know or whom you have gone on date with who end up violating your safety right.
Thank you, Vani. Thank you for that. We will come back to you in a while. Now we're going back to Premila. Premila, I mean, in the Indian community, of course, I'm sorry to we have to go into groups so they understand. We do hear a lot of cases before. I don't want to mention particularly in what countries. Do you think the trend is changing? Do you think the trends is changing? People are changing. There's less violences against women. Women's rights are way much more. Women can stand up for themselves. They can fight on themselves. They are single women, singlehood. When we're talking about divorce cases, what is your take on this, Pamela?
I think the urban side it's still okay, but in the rural area we still hear stories. There's still saying that baby girls are being abandoned and they are married at very young age. So these things are still there. So that's why we are here right now, right? We want to see if this kind of topics get across to the rural area and how we look at women in the other side of the world. So in the urban as well, what happens is unconsciously the society become biased, right? So when we are now working, but there's a set of expectations that we have to be also a good wife, a good housewife, and things like that. So this becomes much of a burden to a woman, right? So we are now expected to earn the money, and we are also expected to be a good housewife, a good mother, and there's a lot of expectation in an overall situation. So I think it's back to the women themselves. Like we need to understand what is the current need. Is there a real need? It's okay if you're not working. Being a housewife is, if you feel that you have to look after your kids, just come out and step out and say, I'm gonna stop work for a while and just focus on my kids. So likewise, men should give. Men should be more, like my husband told me earlier, they should be more perceptive about this woman, just not looking at the working wives as a housewife when the moment they step into the house after work. So this kind of things, being whether it's rural or urban, both sides have different kind of biasness and different way of people looking at women. So I think it's the education and it's the awareness that we create, and the next generation, our kids. I think there should be a better society the way they look at women. Yeah.
Thank you, Pramila. And also, we have Aziyati say that I take boxing for fun. So I'm sure she's doing boxing. So it's good martial art as well. Uh, Carry on that. Thank you for the comment. So now I'm going back to Vanessa. So Vanessa, I know we are talking about this since last year, and you have done a couple of stage presentations and all that, and we have even talked about presentations in the future. I know we have talked about this. So the direct question for you right now is: do you want people to see you as a woman or a transgender?
Of course, I want people to see me as a woman, but if they want to see me as a trans woman, I also would not mind because I respect everyone's perspective on how they look at the transgender community. But importantly, I just want society to understand who we are.
Okay. Now we
Yeah,
are
I
moving
think
back to. I'll come back again, Vanessa. Sorry. So, Vani, I mean, will that be possible? I mean, it's not possible. It is possible, right? I have received a couple of messages in the past, and as randomly as Kopi events is going on, that some of them are actually saying that some women endure because they have already have children, they have commitments, and they depend on the other half, which are of course the man, to bring back the bread and butter. So they're afraid of this abuse, whether is it can be sexual, is it can be verbal, or is it can be a kind of a different character coming back home, drunk and all that stuff, right? But there still woman does not want to make the move. They believe that we can totally understand it's a situation they are in, but I just feel that if it could be a mental torture, all right? They are going through day in and out, years and years. What will your advice be, Vani? I mean, looking at so many cases that you have done before, volunteering of your work, what will your suggestion, what is your tip for these women who out there who are suffering in silence?
Well, there is a reason why they are suffering in silence, right? And a lot of it is because whenever they would have shared it to somebody, they may not have gotten the right first response from them. And that's why they have been further hushed. And of course, on top of that, often where there's domestic violence involved, or sexual situations involved, where the perpetrator is the main breadwinner, of course, then it makes the case more complicated. And having said all of that, it is really tough to get out of this cycle of violence. So take baby steps. It is all right if you're not ready at the moment, but do find out one or two people and put them in your circle of trust, so that you can talk to them. And also look for the organizations which support women, and talk to them whenever you are ready. And do not beat yourself for not being able to speak, since these days there is also this thing, the notion that the society is now becoming so progressive and I'm still stuck in today's and I'm not able to raise my voice. But there's a lot that is happening with you. There's a reason why you're not able to raise your voice, and that is absolutely all right. So do not judge yourself for that. Whenever you are ready, whichever way you are ready, start taking baby steps and make sure that you are safe. Yeah.
Thank you, Vani.
Um,
Thank you so much for that.
yeah.
We also have Sherry and say that I feel gender equality is mostly practiced among the younger generation, say about 60%. The problem is due to the mindset of some people of the older generation of society because of judgmental attitude, due to the pressure. I feel that's why many women are still affected. If a woman can stand up for another woman, I think that can be fixed. Exactly like what Vani also has mentioned that. Thank you so much, Sherry. We also have Kaushalya say that the older generation have planted the thought in the ladies, especially to tolerate that. I think she just hit it on the spot, right? Especially when a woman is getting married to another family. Oh, you got to behave yourself. Don't argue with the mother-in-law. I mean, these are general advices. Of course, they want their daughter to be happy, but in a setting of that, are we sending a wrong signal? But nowadays, I don't think so. That's happening, right, Pramila? What do you think? Is it happening still?
No, I think it's still happening. That's why people are voicing out their thoughts. It's worse actually now because we like, for example, I'm exposed. We've been to the university and then we have social media. So some people say, "Oh my God, she looks so happy, lah. Look at my life, like I look at my life. I'm so within my family. I have to live with this woman. I have to live with this man, this old lady, So this things it's even more. But as what Vani mentioned earlier, they cannot voice out because the other side is the breadwinner of the family, right? So this is still happening. It's just that they're not willing. They cannot put on social media that I'm tortured mentally by my mother-in-law or my father-in-law, right? They cannot do it. So these are the things that they had end up swallowing it, and it's worse when they start comparing themselves with other women out there. So just just feel free to talk to any of your friends. Keep sharing, and probably you could feel better. That's the advice that I can give, and Vani is giving on a more technical side to start small. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Premila, for that as well. We're going back to Vanessa. Vanessa, I mean, it could be a difficult state, but looking at how you have progressed over the couple of years, and spreading a very strong positive message across to in social media and also in whatever platform that you are talking right now, what is the one thing that everyone to remember as Vanessa? Because I know you are constantly talking about blissfulness. You're going into different area of aspects of life and seeing people. What is the one thing that you want people to remember of Vanessa?
Well, I just want people to remember that Vanessa is Vanessa. She does what she wants to do in life. My purpose is to educate uh, the society about the LGBT community, to motivate the transgender community to come up into society and show who they are. So I just want to be recognized as my work. I want to be recognized as a human being and be treated as how I want to be treated. And that is what I want people to know uh, about me, because I will treat people kindly, even though they may treat me badly, because that is my character. So I'm the kind of person where what you see is what you get. So I'm not going to hide myself. I'm I'm a free person. I develop a free mind, and yes, I just want society to know that I am Vanessa, and I will always be Vanessa.
All right. Thank you for that, Vanessa. We also have one viewer say that women need to know our rights and never allow anyone else to take our rights for granted. Kudos. Okay, thank you so much, Mayong, for that. Another one coming in, we should respect everyone regardless of their gender. I mean, thank you so much for the viewers for giving the greatest support for Vanessa. I'm sure Vanessa will be very happy to hear all these positive comments that's coming in. And as more messages that's coming in, and there's another one for you, Vanessa, as well. I have high regards for everyone in the LGBTQ community who have come out and who themselves, while many of us hide our true faces for society. So just be raw. That's what I said. Well done to Vanessa. Thank you so much. We are going to give a 15 minutes, or rather 10 minutes, for questions for the viewers. If you do have any questions for any of our speakers, our speakers right here have went through. I mean, most of us went through, all right, but I know them personally. I mean, not as well as for Premila. It looks like we know each other for 10, 20 years, but we all can sync up very well, even with Vani and Vanessa and Premila here as well. I think is the same kind of platform where they want to be sending their messages across to everyone. So 15 more minutes. If you have any more questions, you can actually ask the viewers. I will take it on to them, and if you have anything for myself also. But old shell itself, when things, we don't see much in the papers or medias and kind of stuff, but I think women has came a very long way, since the day that human beings have ever been known of. But I think the most important thing is respect, knowing each other's, that I think there shouldn't be any rights. In fact, you ask me, I do not know how people who might want to take it as, because I think everybody have the importance of the life as an important element. But in the over the past, I think that's taken too much of a toll on a woman. And like, even we have a discussion that men also going through a lot of challenges at this point of time. And we have Vidya as well, a wonderful topic that needs so much of attention and issue as a whole mankind. I believe the upbringing, the psychological modeling of a child, male and female, since the young, is what will make a better tomorrow. So we just have to go push on, and things will eventually change, especially in well developed countries, improving. And the not so well developing countries, I think it requires certain time because of the resources and so forth. So I'm coming back to the final part again, to Premila and then to Vani. So Premila, I know you have started speaking out, right? Or probably you have done that over the years, one or two times. But what is Premila wants to be remembered for? I know I asked this question during the previous session that we had, but that was totally for a different topic. But after the topic session that you talked, you made an impact on a lot of people, especially on friends and militias in Singapore as well. Such a strong character you are, not melting down for any kind of situation that you've been, and leading by example and learning and improving with such a loving family and friends. But what is the one thing that you want people to remember of you?
The one thing that I would like people to remember of me and the rest of the women is courage. I think now
Okay.
the three of us here have all the courage to come and talk in public. So I think all the women out there, I think many women out there have a lot of courage in doing a lot of different things. So they should just continue that.
Thank you. That was sweet, short, and simple. We will go to Vani now. Vani, your I mean, you are a well-known person. You know, everybody knows you. You've been talking, and recently we have been seeing your TikTok videos. Cute dance songs all coming in. So keep it up. It's a different, lighter side of you,
Yes.
right? It's a lighter side of you. So what do you want people to be remembered of you, Vani? Because you also been speaking in a lot of platforms, in social medias and talk sessions and seminars. So what is that one? Anyway, Vani is actually a doctor, so she's very humble. She just say herself is Vani, but she has a DR, Doctor Vani, right? I'm sorry not mentioning that earlier.
That's all right. That's not relevant here also, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, I think for me, I would say, if I have a lot of people who cherish and remember me, so it's not necessary to remember me. Don't remember me, but remember the lessons that women before us and women like us are doing right now. Because I can say, for all three of us, Vanessa being a trans woman is a woman as well, right? So all three of us are sitting here today is because of what women before us has have done. I can't think that my grandmother can sit like this and speak about it, but or my mother can do that, but definitely they have paved the way and they have educated me enough that I have a seat at the table. So when you get that chance, right? Make a bigger table, create more seats, have more people, have more women around. So I think I would want to say that. Forget me, I'm nothing. I'm just channeling whatever is coming from up there, universe.
Thank you, Vani. Thank you for the
That's very
wise
humble,
words.
Dr. Vani.
I just want,
Oh
yeah,
God,
here you go.
thank you.
Nice.
We have just been informed that someone's birthday tomorrow.
Who's?
My sister
Yes.
had to do
Okay.
it
Yeah,
today.
she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's your birthday. Okay. And on the eve of your birthday, you are spending time with us, sharing on women's right. How powerful is that? Right?
Yes.
It's such amazing to see that you have spent the time with us and spending that your wise words, that you are very humble in mentioning this. Thank you so much, Premila, and happy advance birthday to you.
Happy
Wish
Birthday.
you all
Thank you,
birthday.
Vance.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.
Um,
Thank you, Vani.
so we have a lot of comments that's coming in. Thank you so much, because I know this topic it's very dry. There's nothing to agree to disagree or disagree to agree. No, it's one individual. Like Vani has mentioned that women should not be in silence. If anything that's not right, you should step up. Permila has mentioned very well about the kitchen. That the kitchen belongs to the both men and female. That's for sure, and a little wise words on that as well. Vanessa, you also mentioned how things that have to change, and people looking and the judging and the comments have to change. Can't be going on like that. Thank you so much to all the speakers who spent the past 1 hour with us, going through this. And we also have a lot of messages that's coming in. Thank you so much, Mona. We have birthday wishes that's coming in for Premila. Thank you so much, Premila, and thank you all the viewers. Um, Vanessa, I mean, just to finish up this, but before we go into that, there's a very nice comment that I just saw. Gayatri, thank you, Gayatri. Exercising tolerance is the admirable strength of a woman, but knowing when and where to draw the line is a woman's utmost right for self-respect. I think that is a very powerful statement. Thank
Yes.
you so much for that.
Yes.
Uh, we also have, if I pronounce that correctly, Tapisya
Tapasya,
Surika.
hi Tapasya.
Hello.
Well, I absolutely agree with this. That I remember you mentioned this during our drive to passion orientation. Thank you so much. Okay, this is a Malaysia woman living overseas. What's your take in this matter? I mean, Malaysia government appealing. So we won't be going into politics. I know it's a little bit of understanding about how the citizenships to work on, but as Kopi Vans is very strictly following, we do not want to talk. I'm sorry about that, Palmeswaran. Pals, we want to make sure that we always want to send the positive, but we can take these offline, and then we can discuss about this a lot. All right, speakers, thank you so much. Again, like I said, it's a great platform to come and share your views. But I think this is just a tip of an iceberg, because eventually, I would love to see that you guys having your own platforms and spreading these positivityness, the exact perfect positivityness to all the people, and to make sure that it can reach out to more. So we need you guys to step up as well. I mean, you're already doing it, but more to come in the future. All right, with that, I will love to say thank you, Vani. So I'm going to sign you off, and we will meet up soon after everything's better, right?
We have to at Joe Doe's.
Hey,
Go ahead. No, no, no. Perhaps now we got to change Starbucks. How about that?
Starbucks?
one
Okay,
onion,
now
No,
please.
no.
Vanessa
I
will
don't
love
like it.
Starbucks.
Huh? You live in
Premila,
Starbucks.
Premila, how about you? In Malaysia, which is good? Starbucks or Kopi or Kopi
Anywhere.
Kedai Mama? What is good?
Kedai tepi jalan.
Milo dinosaur.
Okay, Kedai. Okay, Vani probably know that, Vani. Your Malay is good, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Done.
And
You still owe me
yeah,
something.
I owe you
Huh?
something.
Yes.
Oh, me or Vani?
No, you.
She's the one.
Wanan. You. Wanan.
Oh, yeah. She. Oh, I owe you something.
Yes. We have been trying to arrange the date until now. I still haven't been eating with you.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the mutus curry.
Oh my
Correct.
God. Oh my God.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Vanan is a criminal. He always puts all the
Yes.
nice pictures of Indian food, hot coffee, and yeah, we all struggle
But
in
he
the
never
end.
called us.
He never calls
I
us.
always see his fish tikka. Makes me very hungry. I'll be asking him when we can get
Yes,
together.
we
But
are like
now,
Hantus, right? Want to eat, but he never
now
calls
still
us.
never get together.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Once Premila is in Singapore, we all go together, because I'm always there, right? I'm always in Mutus curry. I mean, if the boss of Mutus curry is hearing this, next visit, one fish tikka is absolutely on the house. Right.
When dosa
Because
as well.
we were talking about this, right? I mean, hopefully he's watching this. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, we will definitely will meet up for coffee. I mean, I would love to meet Premila and a lovely family back in Malaysia. Once the border is open, I'm going to fly down, and hopefully to meet all the lovely brothers and sisters in Malaysia and in Singapore as well, right? We are all brothers and sisters, just neighbors. All right, Vani, thank you so much. I'm going to sign you off. I'll catch you around.
Sure.
Tata.
Bye. Nice being here.
Bye. Vanessa, it's a great pleasure to have you again. Love to see you more on the platform and discussion to
Definitely.
go on. See
Sure.
ya. Bye bye. I'm just going to have a little, maybe 1 or 2 minutes with Premila on Tamil. So, all right, Premila. இப்போ நம்ம பேசுவோம் தமிழ்ல. இப்போ வந்து
கண்டிப்பா.
தமிழ்ல வந்து கேக்குறவங்க இப்போ நம்ம ஆடியன்ஸ்ல வந்து I mean sorry for non understanding, I mean for non Indians, or we are going to speak in Tamil for a while, because I think there are some elderly who are listening, Premila's relatives as well. So I'm going to go into Tamil session. எவ்ரி டைம் டாக் இங்கிலீஷ் ஆல்சோ a bit போரிங்ல. ஓகே, தமிழ்ல பேசுவோமா? ரெடியா இருக்கீங்களா? சரி, இந்த இந்த டாபிக்ல நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா வந்து ரொம்ப டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வேல போய்கிட்டு இருக்கு. அதுவும் நம்மளோட சொசைட்டில பாத்தீங்கன்னா, நம்மளோட கம்யூனிட்டில பாத்தீங்கன்னா, இது வந்து ரொம்ப ஒரு ஒரு சிக்கலான ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம்னு நான் நெனைக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா வந்து எனக்கு வந்து ஒரு 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 1 மாசம் 2 மாசம் முன்னால வந்து இந்த மாரி ஒரு மெசேஜஸ்லாம் வந்திருக்கு. அதாவது இந்த மாரி டாக் பண்ணுங்க, அவேர்னஸ் கிரியேட் பண்ணுங்க. அப்ப நான் கேட்கும்போது ஏன்னா, பெண்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப பொறுமையானவங்க. அதே சமயத்துல வந்து அந்த பொறுமைக்கு ஒரு அளவு இருக்கு. அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப பேஷன்ஸா இருந்துட்டு, எவ்ளோ வந்து என்ன துன்பங்கள், என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் வந்தா கூட அவங்க வந்து அத பொறுமையா தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. அவங்களுக்கு நீங்க என்ன சொல்ல விருப்பப்படுறீங்க? இப்ப அததான் வாணி கிட்ட கேட்டேன். வாணி சொல்றாங்க, அது ஒரு படிப்படியா தான் வைக்கணும். ஆனா அப்யூஸ் வருது, வயலன்ஸ் வருது. வார்த்தைகள வந்து தகாத வார்த்தைகள பயன்படுத்துறனால கூட சைக்காலஜிக்கலியா ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் வேற வருது. இப்ப இந்த பேண்டமிக்ல போய்க்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அந்த மாரி பெண்களுக்கு உங்களோட உற்சாகம் என்ன? உங்களோட வார்த்தைகள் என்ன?
பெண்கள் வந்து பெண்களாவே இருப்போமே. தட்ஸ் நம்பர் 1. அதான் அதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல சொல்ல போறது. அப்புறம் என்னன்னா, நம்ம வந்து இப்போதும் நம்மளோட அ தனி உலகத்திலே இருப்போம். நம்ம ஃபேமிலி, குடும்பம், நம்மளோட அ பிள்ளைங்க, என்ன எங்க அம்மாவோட காலத்துலலாம் அவங்க வெளியிலயே வரமாட்டாங்க. இந்த மாரி பிளாட்ஃபார்மே இல்ல நம்மலாம் வந்து பேசுறதுக்கு. ஸோ பெண்கள் வந்து அ நம்மளோட அ கலாச்சாரம் இருக்கு. நம்ம தமிழ் கலாச்சாரம்னு ஒண்ணு இருக்கு. ஸோ நம்ம என்னன்னா, அ சில சில விஷயங்கள் வந்து நம்ம இந்த இந்த கலாச்சாரத்திலே விட்டிருந்தா, இட்ஸ் அது ஒண்ணும் நம்ப நம் நம் அது ஒரு மீனிங் இருக்கு. நம்ம ஏன் இந்த நம்ம தமிழ் கலாச்சாரத்த நம்ம இப்படி உடுத்தணும், இப்படி ஒரு பெண்ணா இருக்கணும்ன்ட்டு. ஸோ அந்த விதத்துல வந்து நம்ப அ சில சில விஷயங்கள வந்து நம்பளே அறிஞ்சுகிட்டா, நம்பளே நல்லா புரிஞ்சுகிட்டா, நம்ம வி கேன் நம்ம ஏன் அ அ ப அம் அ பழைய காலத்து ஆளுங்கலாம், "நீ தோட போடணும், நீ பொட்டு போடணும்." ஸோ சர்டன் விஷயம் அவங்க சொல்லும்போது, அப்ப எனக்கு லைக் ரொம்ப கோவமா இருக்கும். "ஏன் அம்மம்மா இப்படி சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க? வெளியில போம்போது தோட போடு, நல்லா உடுத்தணும், நல்லா இது பண்ணணும். ஏன் சும்மா இந்த மாரி சட்டைய போட்டுருக்க?" இந்த மாரிலாம் சொல்லும்போது, நம்ம யோசிப்போம், "ஐயோ! அம்மம்மாலாம் பழைய காலத்து தாட்ஸ்லயே இருக்கிறாங்கன்ட்டு. பழைய காலத்துல அ திங்கிங்ல இருக்காங்க." ஆனா அவங்க சொன்னதுலயும் ஒரு நியாயம் இருக்கு. பிகாஸ் இப்ப வந்து நம்ம ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்போஸ் பண்ணா, எவ்ரிதிங் ரொம்ப சோசியல் மீடியால போனா கூட, ஆ ஆ ஆண்கள் வந்து நம்மள வேற பார்வையில பார்க்குறாங்க. என்ன சோசியல் மீடியால இப்ப இருக்கு நாட் சோசியல் மீடியா மட்டும் இல்ல. YouTubeல எல்லாம் எல்லாமே நம்மளுக்கு வெளிப்படையா இப்ப தெரியுது. ஸோ அந்த வகையில வந்து நம்ம ஒரு தமிழ் தமிழ் பெண்ணா இருக்கும்போது, நம்மளோட கலாச்சாரத்த கொஞ்சம் நஞ்சம் கட்டுப்படுத்தினா வந்து, அது நல்லா இருக்கும். நம்மளோட சொசைட்டி இன்னும் வடிவா இருக்கும். வடிவா காட்டும். ஸோ அந்த மாரி இருக்கும்போது, ஆ நம்மள அ நம்மளோட மாமியாரா, மாமனாரா ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். நாங்க அம்மாவா, எங்கள அம்மம்மாவா அது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். நம்ம வந்து அவங்களோட அ காலத்துல போனோன்ட்டு. ஆனா சர்டன் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் விஷயம்லாம் நம்மள வந்து ஸ்டில் வி கேன் பிராக்டிஸ். அண்ட் அது வந்து நம்மள ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஆக்காம நம்மள ஒரு டிஃபரெண்ட் உலகத்துக்கே கொண்டு போணுன்ட்டு நான் பெண்கள் கிட்ட சொல்ல விரும்புறேன். ஸோ ரொம்ப நம்ம வந்து ரொம்ப நம்ம ரைட்ஸ் சொல்லிட்டு தான் நம்ம கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சோம்னா நம்மளோட கிராண்ட் மதர்ஸ்லாம் அவங்களாம் அவ்வளோ கஷ்டப்பட்டுருப்பாங்க. அந்த சில சில லெசன்ஸ்க்கு வந்து நம்ம மைண்ட்ல வச்சிருந்தா நம்ம அப்படியே டோன் டவுன் பண்ணிடும். ஸோ அதுதான்
சரியா சொன்னீங்க.
என் லைஃப்லயே. ஸோ ம் அந்த
கரெக்ட்டா சொன்னீங்க.
கலாச்சாரம் கொஞ்சம் கல்ச்சர்
கலாச்சாரம்
சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல.
மெயின்டெயின் மெயின்டெயின் பண்ணும் கலாச்சாரத்தையும். அதே சமயத்துல நம்ம பாரம்பரியோடைய வரலாற்று, அதாவது என்னென்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோமோ, அத வந்து நம்ம ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும். அது அதுதான் நீங்க சொல்ல வரீங்கன்னு நெனைக்கிறேன். அப்ப ஒரு
ஃபாலோ
ஒரு கடைசியா
பண்ணணுன்ட்டு நான் எம்பசைஸ் பண்ணல. ஆனா சாரி ஃபாலோ பண்ணணுன்ட்டு எம்பசைஸ் பண்ணல. நம்ம பிகாஸ் அப்புறம் சொல்லுவாங்க, "ஐயோ! பிரேமிலா சொல்லுது கலாச்சாரம் அத பாரு." லைக் அதுலயே ஒரு ஒரு ஸ்டிக்மா போட்டுருவாங்க. ஏனோ ஸோ என்னன்னா நம்ம யோசிச்சு பார்க்கணும். ஏன் இந்த மாரி ஒரு கலாச்சாரம் இருந்துச்சு? ஏன் இந்த மாரி தென் நம்ம பிள்ளைங்க இப்ப எனக்கு ஒரு டாட்டர் இருக்கும்போது, ஐயோ! எனக்கு இப்பயே பயமா இருக்கு. அடுத்த 10 இயர்ஸ்ல ஐயோ! இப்படி என்ன சட்டை போடுவா? இப்படி இருப்பா? இப்பயே எனக்கு பயமா இருக்கு. யார் ஆம்பளைங்க
ம்,
பின்னுக்கு வருவாங்களா? இவ இப்படி இருப்பா? இப்பதான் அவ 2 வயசு. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது,
ம்,
இப்ப எனக்கு புரியுது. ஏன் எங்க கிராண்ட் மதர், அம்மம்மா சொல்லுவாங்க, "வெளியில போகாத. ராத்திரில எங்க போற? ஊர் சுத்த போறியா? வீட்லயே இரு. உனக்கு ஏன் வெளியில என்ன வேல?" ஆனா இப்பெல்லாம் நம்ம டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ரைட். ஸோ அதான்
ஆமா.
இப்ப ஒரு மதரா இருக்கும்போதே, ஒரு தாயா இருக்கும்போதே எனக்கு புரியுது. ஏன் அம்மம்மா அப்ப சொன்னாங்கன்ட்டு. அந்த ஃபியர் இப்பயே எனக்கு ஆல்ரெடி வித்தின் மீ தெரியுமா? அதான்.
நல்லா
தமிழும்
வந்து
இங்கிலீஷும் ரொம்ப மிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டேனா?
கொஞ்சம் மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி பேசிட்டோம். பட் இன்னும் ஒரே ஒரு கடைசி கேள்வி. தென் வி கேன் எண்ட் தி செஷன். இப்ப நிறைய வந்து கமெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. தேங்க் யூ சோ மச். ஓல்ட் இஸ் கோல். தேங்க் யூ வாணி, தேங்க் யூ வனிசா. நிறைய மெசேஜ் எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. இப்போ வந்து ஒரு பெண் வந்து ஒரு சாரி கட்டுறதுக்கும் ஒரு வேற மாதிரி போடுறதுக்கும் ஒரு மாதிரியா போடுறதுக்கும் ஓகே டெஃபினெட்லி அது ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் இருக்கு. அவங்களோட ரைட்ஸ் அவங்க ஃபாலோ பண்றாங்க. அவங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச மாதிரி அவங்க பயன்படுத்துறாங்க இல்ல போட்டுட்டு போறாங்க. பார்க்குறவங்க பேசாதான் இருப்பாங்க. அதான் நம்ம செஞ்சாலும் பேசுவாங்க, செய்யலாட்டியும் பேசுவாங்க. எந்த செஞ்சாலும் பேசிக்கிட்டு தான் இருப்பாங்க. ஓகே. பட் அது தவிர்த்து ஒரு பெண் வந்து நம்ம கலாச்சாரத்துல இருக்கும்போது இந்த மாதிரி புடவை இந்த மாதிரி ஃபுல்லா போட்டுட்டு போறது தான் கரெக்ட்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா? இல்ல அவங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச மாதிரி அவங்க போட்டுட்டு போலாம். ஏன்னோ கமெண்ட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு தான் இருக்கும். ஆளுங்க பார்க்க தான்
இல்ல
போறாங்க.
அவங்க அவங்களுக்கு 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 பிடிச்ச மாரி என்ன வேணா போடலாம். ஓகேயா? நம்ம வந்து வி நாட் கோனா செட் எனி ரூல்ஸ் ஹியர். ஆனா என்னன்னா, சொசைட்டி சொல்றது நமக்கு ஏத்துக்க முடியுமா? அதுக்கு இல்லாட்டி நீங்க ஜஸ்ட் வாக்கிங் நம்ம நேரடியா நடந்துட்டு யாரு சொன்னாலும் ஒண்ணும் நம்மள வந்து பாதிக்காதுன்னா, இட்ஸ் நோ ப்ராப்ளம். ஆனா நம்ம வந்து இந்த மாரி உடுத்தி நம்மளுக்கே ஒரு கூச்சமா இருந்துச்சு, அன்கம்ஃபர்டபுளா இருந்ததுன்னா, ஸோ அதுதான் என்னோட கமெண்ட். ஸோ நம்ம என்ன வேணா போட்டுட்டு போலாம். ஆனா நம்மளுக்கு ஏத்துக்க முடியுமா? மக்களோட பார்வைய நமக்கு ஏத்துக்க முடியுமா? ஸோ அதெல்லாம் நம்மளுக்கு ஏத்துக்க முடியாது. நம்மளுக்கு என்ன ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்டபுளா ரொம்ப ஆ மக்கள் பார்வையில உங்களுக்கு பாதிக்காம இருந்தீங்கன்னா, யூ ஜஸ்ட் கோ ஆன் நோ ப்ராப்ளம். ஸோ அதான் நான் சொல்ல வரேன். இட்ஸ் நாட் நம்ம வந்து நாட் கன்ஃபைன்ட் டு கலாச்சாரம். என்னன்னா, ஏன் இந்த மாரி கலாச்சாரம் இருந்தது ஒரு மீனிங். அதுதான் சொல்ல வரேன்.
கண்டிப்பா. நம்ம மாட்டி பாருங்கல்லாம் செஞ்சது கரெக்ட் தான். அதான் அத இன்னும் நம்ம ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம் ஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்டா. ஓகே. அதே சமயத்துல ஆஃப் கோர்ஸ் நம்மளுக்கும் கொஞ்சம் as a டைம்ஸ் இவால்வ் பண்றதுக்கு நம்மளும் கொஞ்சம் மாறிக்கிட்டு தான் இருக்கோம். கரெக்ட்டா?
கரெக்ட்,
தேங்க்
கரெக்ட்,
யூ
கரெக்ட்.
பரிமளா. இந்த ஒரு லாஸ்ட் 10 செஷன் எப்போதும் இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசி பேசி வாயெல்லாம் அப்படியே பச்சை தண்ணி குடிச்ச மாரி இருக்கு. பட் இட்ஸ் வெரி குட் டு ஸ்பீக் இன் தமிழ் பிகாஸ் இந்த மாதிரி செஷன்ஸ் நடக்க ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். அதான் நான் போட்டிருக்கேன். 10 மினிட்ஸ் இன் தமிழ் செஷன்ஸ். ஐ நோ இந்த கேள்வி நான் உங்களுக்கு ஏற்கனவே கேட்டுட்டேன். இது 3வது வாட்டியா நான் கேட்க போறேன். இந்த மாற்றம் மாறுமா? அதாவது வுமன்ஸ் ரைட் ரொம்ப கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கோம். இது வந்து நம்மோட கம்யூனிட்டில எல்லாமே எல்லா கம்யூனிட்டிலும் நடந்துட்டு தான் இருக்கு. அபியூஸ்டு வெர்பல் எல்லாம் நடந்துட்டு தான் இருக்கு. இந்த மாற்றம் மாறுமா?
ஃபுல்லா மாறுமான்னு தெரியல. ஆனா, கண்டிப்பா இந்த மாரி அவேர்னஸ் செய்யும்போது நம்மளுக்கு ஃபியூ பீப்பிள நம்ப இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா, அந்த ஃபியூ பீப்பிள இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா, அந்த மாரி வி கேன் கிராஜுவலி கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா அந்த அந்த அவேர்னஸ் மக்களோட மைண்ட்ல போடலாம். அதுதான் என்னோட நம்பிக்கை எல்லாம். ம்.
தேங்க் யூ
ஆனா
பரிமளா. இத
நம்பளே ஒரு
பார்த்து இருக்கவங்க
பெண்ணா
எல்லாருமே
இருந்து
ஓகே.
நம்பளே ஒரு பெண்ணா இருந்து, இன்னொரு பெண்ண வந்து நம்ப மட்டம் படுத்தக்கூடாது. நம்ம உயர்த்தணும். அதான் முக்கியம்.
நைஸ். அழகா சொன்னீங்க. இத பார்த்து இருக்கவங்க வந்து இந்த இந்த இதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் தமிழ்ல பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். கோபி வித் வேன்ஸ்ல. இத பார்க்குறவங்க வந்து ப்ளீஸ் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. உங்களோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், உங்க ஃபேமிலிஸ்க்கு போற மாரி. இந்த வீடியோ இன்னும் ரீச் ஆவணும். பரிமிளா, வனிசா அண்ட் வாணி 3 பேரும் பேசினாங்க. நல்லா அற்புதமா பேசினாங்க. ஸோ தேங்க் யூ ஸோ மச். பரிமிளா இது வந்து 2வது வாட்டி நீங்க இந்த பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் வந்திருக்கீங்க. அதே நான் உங்ககிட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கேன். இத வந்து உங்களுக்கு இன்னும் தொடரும். இன்னும் நீங்க வந்து பல மேடைகள்ல ஏறி பல செமினார்ல பேசணும். பாசிட்டிவிட்டிஸ நீங்க மாத்தணும். ஆளுங்களுக்கு அத ஸ்ப்ரெட் பண்ணணும். அதே சமயத்துல வந்து உங்களோட பெர்சனல் ஸ்டோரி, உங்களுக்கு நடந்த அந்த சேலஞ்சஸ், அந்த சவால்கள தாண்டி நீங்க வந்து ஒரு பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கீங்கன்னா, அதுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ஒரு உற்சாகம் தேவை. அந்த உற்சாகம் வந்து உங்க குரு கிட்ட இருந்து கிடைச்சுச்சு. உங்க குரு வந்து உங்களோட கணவர். அது வந்து அப்படியே அழகா
பிள்ளைங்கள தூங்க
அது
வைக்கிறேன்.
அழகா அந்த ஃப்ளோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கு. இதே மாரி எல்லா குடும்பத்திலயும் வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். சந்தோஷமா இருக்கணும். ஒருத்தவங்களுக்கு ஒருத்தவங்க வந்து நம்ம வந்து வாழ்க்கையில வந்து
கண்டிப்பா.
ஏன்னா முன்னேறக்கு உற்சாகம் பண்ணும். அதே சமயத்துல அவங்கள தூக்கி விடணும். இப்ப உள்ள காலத்துலலாம் வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டா தான் இருக்கு. பட் இருந்தாலும் அத பத்தி பேச வேணாம் நம்ம. நம்மனால முடிஞ்சது சிரிக்கிறோமோ, இல்ல உதவி செய்றோமோ, அது பண்ணிக்கிட்டு தான் இருக்கணும். பாசிட்டிவிட்டிய வந்து நம்ம ஸ்ப்ரெட் பண்ணுவோம். நெறைய கமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. வெல் டன் பிரிமி அண்ட் போத் ஆர் போஸ்டிங் அண்ட் டச்சிங். தேங்க் யூ சோ மச். எல்லாருக்கும் வந்துட்டு தான் இருக்கு. ஸோ பிரமிளா தேங்க் யூ சோ மச் ஃபார் 2வது வாட்டி கோபி இவெண்ட்ஸ்ல வந்து உமன்ஸ் ரைட்டை பத்தி பேசினது. சொன்ன மாதிரி தான் இது வந்து இந்த டாபிக் வந்து ரொம்ப டீப்பு, பேசிக்கிட்டே போகலாம், அளவே இல்லை. இருந்தாலும் என்னோட heartfelt thank you so much for second time for coming in and giving your
My last
honest
message.
சொல்லுங்க.
My
என்ன
last
லாஸ்ட் மெசேஜ்
message.
சொல்லுங்க.
என்னோட பெரிய
ஓகே ப்ளீஸ்.
சக்சஸ் என்னோட பெரிய
ஓகே
சக்சஸ் என்ன தெரியுமா ஒண்ணு? நீங்க
சொல்லுங்க.
சொல்லுங்க. என்னோட பெரிய சக்சஸ் என்னன்னு நீங்க சொல்லுங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே ட்ரை பண்றேன். கிடைச்சிச்சுன்னா உங்க வீட்ல
Yeah.
வந்து ஒரு கோப்பி, சரியா? கோப்பி போதும். கோப்பி இவெண்ட்ஸ். உங்களோட
கண்டிப்பா.
சக்சஸ் வந்து சந்தோஷம், மகிழ்ச்சி, அன்பு, அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இந்த 3ல ஒண்ணு இருக்கலாம். ஆமாவா?
இல்ல என்னோட சக்சஸ் வந்து நான் இன்னும் ஒரு வருஷம் வாழ்ந்துட்டேன். போன வருஷம்
ஓகே.
கேன்சர்ல இருந்து நான் இப்போ இன்னொரு பர்த்டே செலிப்ரேட் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஸோ தட்ஸ் மை பிகெஸ்ட் அச்சீவ்மெண்ட். ஸோ எல்லாரும் என்னன்னா நம்ம இப்போ உயிர் இருக்கிற வரை தான் இதெல்லாம். ஸோ ரொம்ப சீரியஸாக எடுத்துக்கணும் லைஃப்பை. என்ஜாய் அண்ட் பி ஹாப்பி.
Thank you Premila for that wonderful message. நீங்க பண்ணது ரொம்ப impactful. We will catch up soon again once the borders open. All right?
Okay, thank
For
you.
now, signing you off. Thank you Premila. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you for the
Bye-bye.
wishes. Thank you very much.
All right. So that's Premila who spent the last 10 minutes in Tamil. Tamil பேசுறது எவ்வளவு enjoyable இருக்கு. Maybe Kopi events once in a while we have to do in Tamil. Thank you so much, Premila. And thank you so much to Vani as well. Dr. Vani, she's very humble. Yeah, one and more power. Thank you. Being a kinded spirit and creating this bold and beautiful space to express authentically. Happy birthday to Premila. Thank you so much, Dr. Vani, and to Vanessa as well. I think all these 3 speakers who came on board have shared their valuable experiences based on what they have went through, what they have seen, what they have rescued or talked about it. So thank you so much for all the speakers who came on board and shared their valuable experience. And I'm very sure there are many women out there who are watching this, and you may have a different views. You may have your different comments and judgments. So please, if you do have anything, type in the comment box, and we will try to attend to it. Or if you have something private that you want to message, you can also do that. And whoever's watching it, and if you do think that you need some sort of help, whether it can be mentally or whether it can be physically, or if you're going through any kind of verbal abuse, violences, and if you think that you need help, not that we are expert in this field. I mean, definitely we know who can actually help. So no fear. We should not fear anyone except the one that created whoever he can be. That's definitely above us. So that's the only guy or girl, whoever is he, whoever the person is, whatever the thing is, we shall only fear that, no one else. We shall never fear anyone else. No fear. All right. So it's time for me to say signing off. It's been a very fruitful session with Kopi Events. It's going into 2 years, and more sessions that's coming up. We have more professors and doctors and consultants to come in the next couple of weeks to give us a lot more deep sessions in Kopi events to talk about health. We can talk about fitness. We're also going a little bit on food reviews, like I mentioned in the earlier Kopi event. So, எல்லாரும் பாருங்க. Whoever's watching it, please watch it. Please give me your support. And if you're watching this, please do share and like, because that is the most important thing, because then only a lot of people can reach to it and get all this information. As usual, I'm going to sign off, and I will catch you again in the next Kopi with Vans. For now, signing off. Bye.